there have been tremendous changes over the past 5 years, and that has brought about a lot of hardship particularly upon poor households. Why has that happened? Well, largely, the various shocks have hit the economy and society. The pandemic shock, then there was Brexit, then the cost of living crisis as a result of war and various geopolitical events. All of these had severe implications for households and their incomes and their outgoings. So in terms of incomes, overall, on average, across the distribution, living standards have fallen by about 6%. Now, of course, there's enormous diversity in how this has affected different kinds of households. At the bottom end of the distribution, the poorest tenth of the population, for them, their living standards fell by as much as 20%. Of course, as you go towards the top, it's much less, but there's a fall there. Now, so there's this immense distributional effect, but on top of that, there has also been much higher outgoings because of the cost of living crisis, which then meant that Bank of England had to put interest rates up, which also meant a lot of interest outgoings particularly for poor households, and rentals together with that. So that added on average around 8 to 10% more in terms of outgoings. This is on top of the fall in incomes. Again, there are distributional consequences of this. The entire bottom half of the distribution of households, for them, the outgoings were about 10% or more higher. State support has come in, and we really welcome that. Perhaps they could have been a bit more targeted, but they were not in the event. Some things benefited the poor households who were more in need. For example, the universal credit uplift during the time of the pandemic. For example, the rises in the national living wage and national minimum wage, that benefited poor households as well. But certain other elements, particularly the energy price support and the energy price guarantee, disproportionately benefited richer households. So it has been a mixed picture. But overall state support has provided some help, but this is small compared to the overall hit to household finances, both in terms of falling living standards, that is falling income, but also in terms of higher outgoings for the households. So what are we expecting the new government to do when they come in? Well, we would suggest that a new fiscal framework should be drawn up as soon as possible, and in this framework, of course, there should be targeted support for the households who have really suffered a lot, particularly in the bottom end of the distribution, all the way up to the middle. We also see the return of the squeezed middle there, and the National Institute has talked about it quite a bit in the past. But this is going to be really kind of a short-term respite, so this is necessary. Targeted support is necessary over the short to medium run. In the long run, what we need is higher growth and productivity, because only that can lead to higher wages and therefore higher living standards, better living standards in the medium to long run. And for that, we need larger public investments together with private investments, again targeted specifically in a way that is going to generate higher growth opportunities. So the new government is going to have its hands full, and we hope to see further progress in terms of the fiscal side of what the government does.